Hello, beautiful souls. How are you guys doing? I'm doing this video from my therapy room, so if you hear some noise in the background, please excuse this. It's just part of being in a busy city. But I'm so excited to be back and sharing another video, and this is going to be part of my podcast. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can actually go to YouTube and you can see me there where I'll be talking about this topic, and I'm going to be showing up more and more in video form as well as part of the podcast series. So thanks for joining me, and today I want to talk about autumn. Well, autumn and winter, but I love autumn. This is the time I'm making this video, and there's so much different energies that are going on. And I wanted to share some tips that you can work on when it comes to tuning in to the energy of the moon months. So the moon months is autumn and winter. The sun or the solar months are spring and summer. And you can really feel the shift, at the end of summer when we're headed into autumn, you can feel that change because everyone's going back to school, everyone's going back to college or to work, summer holidays is over. Going back to routines, which is very much about the Virgo energy. And then when you hit Libra, then it's the equinox of autumn. And it doesn't matter if you're in the north or in the south of the hemisphere, because I know some people have been asking me about that. When we talk about the Libran energy, we're talking about the second half of the zodiac, the beginning of the second half of the zodiac, which is in itself a big shift. Which is why equinoxes are so special. And just the same as in winter, when we finish the end of winter and we're headed into spring, again there's another energy shift and we enter the beginning of the zodiac, which is Aries. So these 2 points during the year are the best times to tune in my opinion. Of course, there are plenty of other astrological and seasonal ways of tuning in, but if you want something just to start to work with the energy, the natural cycles, I always say tune in to the moon calendar, the lunar calendar, and also the equinoxes. So now that I've explained a little bit about being in that equinox or after that equinox time, which we're in right now, and it doesn't matter if you're listening to this in winter as well, as we enter the moon months, autumn and winter is actually the best time to clear out. I mean, everyone talks about spring cleaning, but I think autumn cleaning is probably much more powerful because it's a shift of energy that happens when we go from the upper chakras going downwards. And the lower chakras tend to be the more heavier, denser things and the things that we connect to more on a physical level. So your daily routines, your life, your money, your job, the house, the physical things that you have and own, the emotions, the connections to others, the way that you channel your creativity, the way you move forward into the world. All of this stuff is in the lower chakras, and when we do an energy detox, the lower chakras is really the place where you just want to release a lot of stuff, which is why I think autumn and winter is that invitation to go in deeper. I mean, you can see with the weather in most places in the world, it gets darker and it gets colder sometimes, of course depending on where you are. And during that time, it's like we're going from the external energy and we're going into the internal energy, which can be a challenge. And I've spoken about this on some posts before, where I know from my own personal experience and talking to a lot of clients, a lot of people find this very challenging because you might experience lower energy, you might have SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which I suffered for many years being in London, just being in darkness all the time and the cold and all of that is just, it was only until I realized the invitation that each season was giving me that I started to really appreciate this. And now actually that I use the tools of the moon months, I find this so valuable to go into that internal space, that more feminine energy. We all have masculine and feminine, but this is an invitation to go into the inner, which is part of the feminine. It's part of the creative, receptive energy. And it's also the place where we store a lot of things. So first tip I would say is, coming back to the point of detoxing and decluttering, start off with looking at your physical environment. So looking at things that you can release and shift, especially if you're going to spend more time at home. I think the routines tend to be more internal, indoors, versus external. So start looking at things related to that, and then at the same time you can start looking at, on emotional level, what it is you need to release, which might mean you have to do a lot of shadow work as well, which is perfect timing. It's a supportive timing for the shadow work. This is a time where I find a lot of clients look for therapists, or look for yoga classes, or meditation, or talking therapies, or something that can help them connect and channel that energy outwards. So bringing out the emotions that have been inside of us, which is very much a second chakra. And often it's related to connections. So looking at the connections that you have in your life and who truly supports you, you know, where the energy is a two-way flow. It's not just, especially as an empath, you will know if you're always giving, or you're always, it's always a one-way energy flow. Just being really honest about those people and places and spaces and things that nurtures your energy and creates flow versus drains your energy. So the decluttering is really important. Along with the decluttering, we can look at boundaries. And this is such a big topic related to this, mainly to the lower chakras, I think, especially on a physical level. But of course, you know, the energy cords that we connect to things and people and habits and even our past lives can be from any of our chakra system. But the lower ones tend to be the ones that we just can't sometimes, you know, we just can't get rid of. It's there, and you know it's there, but it's just that attachment that you can't get rid of, especially on an emotional level, especially if you're talking about past relationships or past connections with people, because remember, people and our connection to people usually are one of the biggest reflections of who we are and where we are on our journey. So getting clear about the healthy boundaries that we need to reevaluate, and that includes what we value and what we need in our life. And if what it is that we value and what it is that we need is being met by ourselves and also by the connections around us, whether it's people, places, daily routines, etc. And of course, healthy boundaries is not just about what I was talking about, it's also about immunity. So we don't usually think of our immune system but as a form of healthy boundaries, but actually it is an amazing way that we can look at our physical health boundaries, you know. And autumn and winter, of course, and especially in, you know, recent years with everything that's going on, of course immunity has come up so often. So this is the opportunity, especially if you're watching this in this autumn and winter, to really up your game when it comes to self-care and boosting your immune system and really connecting to your inner fire. So not the external energy of the sun, but the internal sun, which is very much the solar plexus. And we can do this by many different forms, by different things that we eat, so a lot of spices, a lot of breathing exercises related to the right nostril, which is the solar energy. Breath of fire is another one, Surya Kriya, Nabi Kriya. There's plenty of different Kriyas in Kundalini Yoga that you can do to really tap into the navel point and the solar plexus. So have a look at that, and I will leave some links below so you can explore that for yourself. And the final tip I want to give in this video is that it's an opportunity to plant some seeds. It's already a time when we return back from summer to get back to routines. So it's automatically a time where we can start thinking about some goals and some things that we want to work on behind the scenes, you know, because it is the moon months, it is more internal, and we're doing a lot of shifting around and a lot of hibernation, maybe being more indoors, being more with, you know, closer groups of people versus being out there. This is a time to look at what our goals are and work on them, really channel that creative energy outwards into things that really create a foundation, you know, to create a foundation where we can nurture our soul even more. And the good thing is, whatever it is that we plant and we nurture during these moon months and spring, when everything comes out and the energy is external, solar, out, you know, we can actually see it. We can see those changes blooming. You know, this is the time when we can actually show all the projects, and we find that all the things we're working on have that release, you know, and we can see those projects happening. So I invite you during this autumn and winter to think about what it is you want to plant, what projects you want to do, what new things you want to do. Get out of your comfort zones, do something creative, nurture that creative sense of who you are. And when I say creativity, I don't necessarily mean the traditional stuff like art or music. It can be, but it's really anything that you can do that makes you feel like you can do it for a really long time. You know, think about when you were a child. What did you used to love to do that you used to just constantly do and not even think about the time? The hours would kind of fly by and you still enjoy yourself, you know, even if it's dancing or being, you know, in the room or putting on their music on and just getting inside internally, shifting energy. It can be writing, like journaling, for example. That's a very easy way to tap into creativity and to release. And yeah, there's just endless possibilities. So think about how it is you want to channel your energy into new projects and new routines that support yourself, support and help you clear out the lower chakras, and also to tune into nature around you. So today, as an exercise to get things started, I want you to go out into whatever space you're in, no matter where you are in the world, and observe nature. Observe what colors, what temperatures, what changes are happening, and how you react to it. You know, our internal connecting to the external. How are you reacting to the shifts of temperature and the changes? Anything that is around you, and looking at the colors around you, and also looking at what foods in your local area you can use to feed yourself and to naturally just tap into the natural cycles around you through food. So that's the first exercise I want you to do. And I actually have a 10-day energy detox for the moon months. You can do it anytime during autumn and winter. It's all online. It has 10 different videos, 5 lectures, like a lecture style thing where we explore a topic, and then 5 different meditations which you can get into. It's got a main journaling exercise plus other journaling exercises you can do and mantras you can use. So it is packed, and it will be in the link below. So if you're interested in diving in deeper to anything that I said, plus some more tips, feel free to look at the description and all the details will be there. And you can go at your own pace. It doesn't have to be 10 days. You can extend each section for as long as you like. This is your time to go into yourself, to tune in deeply and just to enjoy the autumn and winter. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to these tips. I love all your feedback, so feel free to leave a comment in the section below, in the YouTube, in, I don't know, whatever podcast platform you're listening into. And I will check all of your comments and your feedback. As always, thank you so much for being here and being supportive by tuning in with me. Take care of yourselves. Have a beautiful autumn and winter, the moon months. Sat Nam.